Pond placement in a yard or an area is important, and there's some things you want to think about. One thing is koi ponds do very well in either half shaded or shaded areas. They need some sunlight, that's good, but in full sun, the algae is going to grow faster than it would in a shaded area, and the pond's going to get warmer, and that might be an issue depending where you live. So you might want to think about placing an area that is going to get some shade, or think about maybe in the future you may want to build an arbor over part of the pond. But so take shade into consideration. Placing a pond underneath trees is not an issue. If it's well designed, if it has jets in it and a skimmer, the leaves from a falling tree in general are not an issue. The one exception is pine trees. Pine needles, they go through the pump basket, they get into the pump, they get into the filter. They can be a real problem. So if you can avoid building a koi pond near a pine tree, it could be to your advantage. Also, how deep are you going to build it? If you want to place it in your front yard, many codes in area, the building codes require that it not be any deeper than 18 inches, which is impractical for a koi pond. So if you're hoping to place it in your front yard, you might want to look at the local building codes because they may require that you put a fence around it. Typically in a backyard it's fenced in anyway, so it's not an issue. And finally, a helpful hint in where to place your pond is figure out the general area and then take either a rope or you can even take a hose and go ahead and lay it out around about the shape of the pond you'd like to see. Then stand back and try to visualize, if my pond was that big, would I be happy with it? Additionally, you can go in, maybe if you've got a dining room window you want to see out of it, or a deck, but go to different areas of the yard and look at it and try to visualize. And you might decide after a while it would be better if you moved it to one side or the other just a little bit, but it's just a helpful hint. And one last point is that once you decide the surface area of your pond, you can get a ballpark figure how many gallons it would be by simply measuring the average length times the average width times the average depth in feet, and then multiply that by 7.5, and that would give you how many gallons the pond should be.